Ken Warren, Ottawa Citizen, here on Tim and Sid. NHL training camps, kids, not that far away. I'm guessing we're about a month away, less than that now. And Ken's been kind enough to join us. Now, the C is still out there, Ken, in terms of who was going to wear it. Obviously, Spez's 1 year was a little lax, and that ended with him leaving town and heading to a new organization. Do you think Coach McLean goes a while here before naming one? Does he do it during training camp? And is Karlsson the de facto guy to get it? How would you describe the captaincy with this club right now?
Yeah, it'll wait. I would imagine it'll happen in training camp, probably late in training camp. And if you're doing the odds thing, if you got the Bodog odds or whatever, I mean, I'd put your money on Karlsson, but don't bet the house. Don't put that much money on it. Just a question about his maturity level and whether he can deal with the everyday up and down of what's probably going to be a long, could very well be another long year for Ottawa if things don't go right. He's 24. He is unquestionably their best player, but does he? Last year there were some incidents. For instance, he had some issues with the media. Whether he's willing to take all that on, and I'm sure there'll be long conversations about what the responsibilities are beyond just going out there and trying to score points. I mean, he has to improve his game as well defensively. So this will go on. I think he's the odds-on favorite. Other possibilities are Chris Phillips. He's been around forever with the team, but is in. He's got a 2-year contract, but he's kind of guy who's not going to play necessarily big minutes. So. It's a question mark, but I think if I look at it this way, if Karlsson can convince them by his actions in training camp that he's the guy, I think they'll give him the seat.
Ken Warren, Ottawa Citizen, here on Tim and Sid, talking about the captaincy of this team and kind of where you go next. Ken, it's a great point on the media issue. I'd forgotten the incident. How many days went by between Erik Karlsson speaking to the media? How long was the moratorium?
Well, it depends on. I mean, he would talk after certain game days, but in terms of getting them after game to talk about the game, I mean, you can go 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was a little bit awkward at times. We don't need to talk to a guy every single day. I mean, you guys talk to Phil Kessel or don't talk to Phil Kessel in Toronto, but when it goes on for an extended period, it gets awkward. And that happened. There was one point last year when he was named to the Swedish Olympic team, which was a no-brainer, but he wasn't talking. And it was sort of a bit of we need to talk to the guy about his feelings about this. So that went on for a little while. I guess I'm saying somewhere between 2-3 weeks where he didn't talk.
If you're wearing the C, that gets awkward, man. And there's a lot of people, we get a lot of tweets, Ken, when this topic occasionally will come up about guys talking to the media, and I don't care if he talks to the media. I don't care what he does with the media, and I appreciate that. But when you're in a Canadian NHL market and you're wearing a C, and it depends on which side of the bed you roll out on, that's not good.
No, and I think that's a part of the whole maturity thing. I mean, there are a number of other incidents that happened, but not quite so public or not quite so as extreme. But he made an effort to clear the air on that sort of stuff the other day. He came back to Ottawa from Sweden and said, "No, you know what? I've had times acknowledged he had problems in the past, but said, you have to swallow your pride sometimes or accept it as part of the Canadian market." And I don't want to say he was campaigning for the captaincy, but he certainly was trying to say, look, that last year's gone and everything that was bothering him, including the fact that he couldn't be the same player as he was the year before because he was still recovering from the Achilles. And you could see it in his game, particularly in defensive end. He couldn't lean. He lean as hard. Defensively, sometimes he wasn't as strong as he could have been. That all that stuff, I think, got to him a little bit. And he, without coming right out and saying, I think he admitted that maybe he made some mistakes.